All right. So there was a lot I had to say there, but let's keep it going. And so another sign a man does not respect you is that he does not respect your boundaries. Okay. So there's a quote I use a lot. It says, "A lack of boundaries invites a lack of respect." Now, what's tricky about that quote is if you never establish the boundaries, then I think it's unfair to just assume certain things are automatic disrespect. I understand there's going to be some things that most people would agree is just flat out disrespect, but understand that people perceive or have a different idea of how the relationship should go, how we interact with others, all these different things, or how we even speak to each other. Okay, you may have some people who genuinely believe that speaking all aggressively with their partner is just what couples do. If they grew up around that and the couples that they saw engaged in that stayed together for years, they may not register that as a problem. But for you, who comes from a very different environment, that aggressive talk is like that right there is disrespect. But there has to be a discussion about that. So this is why it's important. If we're going to evaluate his willingness to respect your boundaries, we have to lay him out. And that's why it's so important as early as possible to start establishing certain boundaries, to start talking about how we feel we're supposed to show up in our relationships. Now, one of the things that I think is a great thing to do is when you guys are talking and getting to know each other, come up with hypothetical situations and discuss how would you handle that, or would this be a problem. So let me give you an example. I remember one time I was speaking to a woman many years ago, and I asked her, I said, okay, let's just say, because we both can enjoy going out sometimes, and I got friends who love going out. So I said, okay, let's just say one day I'm at a club and you're at a different club, right? And somebody wants to come dance with you, and vice versa. Is dancing with them in the relationship disrespectful to you? Now, again, some of y'all be like, that's a stupid question. Of course it's disrespectful. Remember, people have different belief systems. There's some people who don't think it's a big deal for their partner to go out dancing and they're dancing with somebody else. Other people think, hell no, ain't no way. You ain't going to be my partner by the time you get home. If that's what you think, you can go out there and do. But this is why we have discussions. So we ask different scenarios. We talk about all these different possibilities, or we just say flat out, hey, if you're with me, this is what is cool, this is what's not cool. Another perfect example, I was coaching a guy recently, and long story short, like, perfect example, there are some guys out there who, and you may see this a lot on the internet, where they believe like a woman going on a girl's trip is absolutely hell no. Unacceptable. That's just, she's looking for trouble. She's gonna get herself into some stuff. You don't let your woman do that. And if she wants to do that, you don't make her your woman, you let her go, right? Now listen, there are men who believe that, but there are men, and I'm just gonna admit it, I'm one of them, who doesn't care? who, if anything, go on your girl's trip. I ain't trying to police nobody. If you want to go with your girl, I've seen women be on a girl's trip, have fun, and not get into trouble. I think it's possible, right? So to me, I'm not going to sit here and stress it, but at the same time, I'm not going to demonize the man who doesn't like it either. Instead, what I tell that man is, all right, if that's your thing, you lay out for that woman you're trying to get with that this is how you roll, that this is what's expected. And if she's not with that, if that's not her thing, don't fight, don't argue, don't speak down on her. Just, okay, you guys aren't on the same page. Not a good fit for a relationship. Plain and simple. And you move on, because guess what? There will be a woman out there who thinks, oh, I completely agree. Girls' trips are ridiculous. I don't need to be out with my girls if I got a man. Then they're a match made in heaven. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can just keep it that simple. So with all that said, I really just feel like you got to, I feel like, I know you have to establish boundaries early. And then you'll get to see, does this man actually respect it? Because if he respects you, he will do what he can to respect his boundaries. Granted, there are gonna be exceptions to the rules sometimes where certain situations, I mentioned in the previous video, where a situation can get out of hand and he may feel like out of good intention, he needs to cross a certain line, but we're not gonna get on into that today. Excuse me, for the most part, and it's one thing for somebody to cross it for one situation and they explain to you this is why and it was with good intent versus he just doesn't respect what you say and he does what he wants. He doesn't care how you feel. That's a sign of disrespect. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. You know, one of the things I'm gonna use the word hate to see are women in relationships with men who clearly don't respect them, who clearly don't love them. And